Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Elven Portal Podcast, Pathfinder's 2nd edition Age of Ashes adventure path. Welcome to episode 8. Episode 8, and have we really started the second book? Well, in the beginning of the second adventure, they talk about a whole bunch of downtime, and we decided to insert some special guests, some cameos, as well as what you guys have been working on as personal projects, because players always go, hey, DM, I have this idea. I want to open a brewery. So poof, we came up with one. We've had some great guest stars. And now we are going to introduce a brand new cast member to our party, as well as someone continuing their cameo, which you never know, could turn into something more. Because regretfully, Mr. Frank Hamilton's return has been prolonged to a later date. So we're a man down, a dwarf down. Now, we're not just going to dig up any old dwarf. We need a cast member that has chemistry with these gents. We would need someone that's old school, that's been with Mongers from practically the beginning, and someone who is a close personal friend of mine. And to prove that we don't actually hate each other, that's just a Star Wars thing, please wait and then welcome Mr. Aiden Willems to the cast.
Hey, best buddy. How you doing tonight?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Looking good, man. Looking good. Thanks for joining the show.
Right back at you. Hey, it takes handsome to know handsome. All
right, you know what? We'll just stop that. Let's go. I think the other trope where we're always actually is less less cringy.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah. This could breach a line pretty quick that Cheryl might not be super happy about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she had her cameo in this show, and she's moved on to other projects. So she's not, let's say, nothing. Where you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So. When last we left our heroes, they were separated. They were all doing different projects. We have Elbrick Stonechucker, played by Matt Witt, who is desperately trying to track down a portal key.
I did track down a portal key.
You tracked down you tracked down a picture of a portal key, but don't worry, the scene will descend not on you, but on other people. And when we come back to you, since you I have already worked out the cost and some of the trade with a certain someone, let's just say, the deal is in the works, and you'll pretty much have that sucker in your hand soon enough, since we wasted spent exhilarating bottle episodes with Matt Witt, trying to track that sucker down. Returning as his role as Miros Anvilbender, dwarf number 2, but second to none, Mr. Ryan Messsina.
Oh, it's good to be back there. Stretch out there these limbs here. I feel like I got a bit of a dusting on me. Oh no, that's just the stone. Don't mind that.
And revising her role as Althea Evening Star, author Samantha Curl is continuing her cameo. What, you think it's just one battle and we ditch her? No, she's back for a little bit more. Please welcome Samantha Curl to the cast.
It's Alethea. You really need to get that right.
I just make stuff up. Just because I got your other character in the other show's name wrong, like every other. Hey guys, I don't know if you've been watching the other show. It's Monster Interrupted, the Abomination Vaults, brand new cast, all Canadian cast with brand new characters, and a lot of them are new to Pathfinder, so sort of a noob cast. And since I'm sort of technically still a noob GM with the Pathfinder system, we thought the classic dungeon crawl approach of Abomination Vaults would do a great job. And these guys so far are doing a great job, except for me, who can't get anyone's name right. Her champion.
No, you just can't get my name right.
Your Elven Dustwalker champion named Bella Luna.
Correct. You got it right.
You want to know
Belladonna.
I was going to say, but if you want to know what I call her all the time, you got to watch the show. Spoiler.
Sorry.
It's all right. So the scene comes down this time, not on a barrel of dwarves, not on a brewery, but upon Breach Hill, where a certain elven ranger and her wolf companion Reyna are striding through the city gates in the northwestern section of town, heading towards the Pickled Ear and Le Mans Lament. A cloak and hood have been thrown over a large, burly third party in tow behind Dieter, the rat folk druid, trying desperately to cover up the odd appearance of his companion, who walks like a man, but talks like a monkey. Strange, no one seems to care or ask our Elven Ranger to put a wolf on a leash. Now, they talk about D&D stereotypes, okay? Just because she's an elf doesn't mean she's a ranger, and just because she has a wolf that's not leashed doesn't mean she's in full control of this companion. People go, oh, it's okay, it's an Elven Ranger. You know, the wolf's no threat, she's perfectly tame. That's a bad assumption. But, you know, these humans in their little cities, you know, they just jump right to the stereotype. Heading northeast and then hooking a corner as the trail just sort of leans into the east along, well, a few building stone throw from the north wall. These two companions, seek a former party member who was supposed to meet them here in Breach Hill for the Call of Heroes. I'm sure you guys aren't too late. No. Just a matter of collecting said companion, heading over to the town hall and signing a deal and off to adventure. I mean, that was the plan. But you guys got waylaid. Hearing rumors about bandits and then finding the people that actually slayed them, and yet finding that dwarf and that human cleric under attack by a pack of wargs and saving their butts. Well, I mean, they helped a little, right? With some daring acrobatics, especially from that cleric. I mean, that guy is pretty nimble. You see the backflips that cleric was doing off the, type of thing. Put the dwarf to shame. I'm just saying. You guys were rewarded by said mini party with the kill, the ears, the bounty that could be in the wargs because they've already claimed possibly whatever reward was out on the bounty of the bandits. And now you are in town with a bag full of ears, ew, a gory bag full of ears, slung over an ape. Is he a monkey? Is he an ape? Is he a silverback? Is he just a really hairy dude? Like, what is this thing?
He's an ape.
He's an ape. Okay.
He's an ape with a cloak.
Yeah, he's an ape with a great big, like, just the one-piece poncho, right? It's like the big hood and the big poncho that just kind of like, if he puffs his chest too much,
he actually has barding, and I'm not quite sure what barding would be on an ape, but I kind of picture like the subligar kind of, like that the Roman.
Oh, picture an army
centurion.
Picture a Japanese army.
Like,
Picture the Japanese army, and you have your samurai, and then you have your lord funded some decent leather armor that kind of looks samurai-ish. That Lam Lamar, like it's got the sectioned leather breastplate that hangs and the mini skirt.
She's just pulling this right out of Planet of the Apes, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah,
I am a movie buff. I'm just saying.
Armored trolls from Skyrim's Dawnbreaker DLC.
Yeah, like the one strap across with maybe like
a pauldron or two.
Yeah, whatever I could find to fit the monkey.
Dieter made it. So
I don't know.
It reflects the craftsmanship that was available.
Dude is so hairy, they're just gonna say nice hide armor. Get it? Ugly
or maybe
dude, but
instead of a barding, he just has a helmet.
You think that'll just pass him off?
And the little centurion skirt.
Yeah.
He's unarmed. Well, I mean, aside from his big giant ape arms.
Except for the two giant meat sticks he calls arms.
Oh. So, big reveal, if you ever die, I'm actually going to have this ape pull off its head, and it's Corey's monk character who always goes into
the whole time.
No, dude rocks the gorilla stance in the other show all the time. You just pull off the fake head and go, that was in some intense training. I don't know.
They said be the ape.
Be the monkey, right? So where, Dieter, Lady Ranger, were you supposed to meet your third party member? Was it the Pickled Ear or Lamon's Lament? Each tavern like sits across from each other. So
if I get to choose, we're going to the Pickled Ear.
Okay.
I was going to say Lamon's Lament.
Well,
und I wonder if they has good crowds there.
We can check it out.
Why you go to both? You just leave the ape and the wolf awkwardly in the street, just looking at each other. How's it going? Oh, you know. Companions, right? I mean,
just like walk up and tie them up next to the horses.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I not say this was a talking wolf? You know, I mean, it's only 4 years after the Great Reign of Barclay. I mean, he could have been studded out, and she could be a descendant. You never know. You never know. You don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Das ist gut. Das ist gut.
That's good. So, with the ranger peeking in Le Mans Lament and Dieter peeking in at the pickled ear, where would we find Aiden Willems' new character? Aiden, you decide. I mean, where you said you were going to be and where you actually are didn't even have to be.
Yeah, that's fair. Probably the pickled deer.
Okay.
Sounds a little more in my style.
Okay. The rougher, tougher proprietor's name is Roxy Den. Large female human woman with burly arms and looks like, you know, she don't take shit from nobody.
Are you sure it isn't a cougar in disguise?
No.
What's her charisma?
Come on down and find out.
That's what I am. I went to the pickled ear.
I know. More than yours, rat boy.
Yeah,
So-
of course.
Okay. So, spying your companion right away, we see a goblin literally walking the bar with the entire audience, like even from tables away, completely enthralled in his current story as he's just wrapping it up. Would you describe yourself, Mr. Willems?
Oh, of course. So they see a 2-foot tall goblin, barely cloaked actually, with a very large horse chopper strapped to the back straight up, almost like a banner or a flagpole. And you know, he is just strutting on this bar top, albeit getting an evil eye from the bartender, but yeah, it's fine. Oh, look, there I was, face to face with this dire bear. Three of my companions already dead. I looked it in the eye. And then I fell back and pretended to be dead. It ate my friends and then I ran. That's how I lived. Moral of the story.
Dude, I'm
Find
totally
someone to
giving
fight,
you...
You can't win.
I'm totally giving you a hero point for that. It was such a... Just for the dramatic pause, I looked it right in the eye, and I played dead. like how much of a bluff roll would you have to do as the bear watches you pretend to keel over dead? Like, you know what I mean? It was looking you in the eye, it knows you're alive, and he does such a great keel over death scene. They completely sold the bear, and it goes over and kills the other, eats the other guys. Dude, it's totally worth a hero point in my book. Dieter, the scene unfolds. And of course, Roxy's like, all right, enough. Unless you're going to keep buying everybody drinks, you know, get down. But there is a round of, yeah, and you know, in the back, right? They're all saluting you. Someone like, you're full of shit, but
Yeah. So I'll approach the goblin as he clambers off the bar,
okay.
lean in and go, Uns, you know, with bears, all you have to do is look them in the eye. If you show no fear, they will back off.
I mean, yeah, maybe for you. Have you seen the height difference? Have you seen a dire bear?
As I'm looking up to the goblin, doesn't he just like ignores that statement?
How tall are you? Dude's like barely
Repo.
2 feet tall.
Yeah, like we're probably similar.
You're,
We're both
Okay.
small,
Okay.
well,
I believe.
Stepping out of his elevator like Elton John boots, and as he tells you this, and shrinks down another 4 inches, right?
So I'll give a curt bow. Uns, my name is Dieter. I believe we are meant to be of acquaintances.
Dieter. Yes, I believe so. Well, name's Lobrak. What's up?
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. First, I shall see if this establishment has any sufficient crowd for my consumption, and then we shall find my companion. And with that, he turns and heads up to the bartender.
Okay.
Ooh, Fraulein.
Well, there's a whole bunch of raised eyebrows looking at you. Not that I should expect to find rats in my bar. You might be a bit of a health risk, but what can I get you?
I can assure you I am quite sanitary. And then he like does a little... Und, from the name of your establishment, would you happen to have any crowd?
Kraut? The name's the
Yes.
pickled ear.
Ooh, what would you call it? I should say, pickled cabbage.
That's a new one. Let me go out back and see what we have. She goes off. Lowback, you totally know, like, just from her demeanor, okay, without any perception check, she's literally gonna go, like, soak a cabbage and like, in something pickle juice for, like, 2 seconds, bring it out. Here you go. Here's your crowd, buddy. Just to make a buck. Anyway, cross the street. Our ranger comes up empty-handed and comes back.
I said Althea too, off of reading it, so.
Thank you. Alethea enters the bar.
Take a look around. Look
Take
for Dieter.
a look around. Yep, he's already hopping off the stool and heading right towards you.
Dieter just walks up, puts his hand out, cocks his head to the side.
Just roll my eyes and pull 2 coins from my pouch and slip them into his hand. Not saying a word. Spotting Lowbrick.
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Been wondering when I was going to see you again.
Hey, you! You're alive! That's wonderful!
I could
I'm
say the
honestly
same for you.
surprised that direbear didn't get you.
He doesn't
Again,
remember your
could
name
say
either,
the
so
same
there.
For you.
Look, no hard feelings, right? Like, I mean, come on. It's every goblin for himself.
Yeah, people in the back are like, you said everybody died.
That was a different party. I've encountered multiple direbears. How do you think I know how to deal with them?
By running away. That's how you deal.
I'm sorry. Who here could have 1v1 a direbear? Show of hands.
Everyone's wondering
Tell
what a
them how you deal
V1
with
means. So a reunion ensues in a tavern. And so not to play the cliche, the camera strategically and quickly withdraws, leaving you guys to said reunion.
Yeah.
The
What's
sun
this
turns...
crowd is scheisse.
Yeah. So what you hear out the window as the scene draws back, right? But she literally comes out with said pickled cabbage. Oh, this is crap. Scene pulls back. Time advances. And walking down the street, coming back in from Quarters and Bits, we have Albrecht Stonechucker very happily smiling from bearded grin ear to bearded grin ear, patting a pocket, now in possession of a lot less money, but 1 arrowhead shiny portal key.
Gonna open the portal. Oh, I mean, gonna go do something secret. No
one's gonna follow you when you say that. Something secret, you say?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
He's happy. He's happy. Papers
There's-
all over town.
There's a local peddler, you know, on the street. Jasper whispers, right? Secret, you say? I'm really good at keeping secrets.
Right, I'm sure you are. Have a good day.
No, I don't think you understand. He keep paddling up beside you and sticks out a little hand. I said I'm really good at keeping secrets. Holding out his hand.
Low
implying-
five, slap. Me too, buddy.
All right, he says, shouting down the street. You have fun with your private business, whatever you're going off to, probably in or out of town. It's a secret. I won't tell anyone. He just starts yelling.
Turn back. Good. I won't tell anybody that you're a no good scamming piece of waste either. Secret. Gonna do a thing.
Scene follows him out, comes back to Jasper's, and quietly says to himself, putting his hands on his hips, well, that's just hurtful. And he just turns back into his alley and goes away. So,
Dwarven stealth, baby.
yeah. Obviously, you got to be a dwarf to master it, right? No other dwarf or human can master. It's a real dwarf. All right.
I'm sneaking here. You can see I'm sneaking, can't you? Yeah, you can. It's all intimidation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cashing in your war gears, Party B, and heading towards the town council hall. You come upon a scene of rebuilding, but it is still apparent from the scorched ground and piles of mashed up ash-ridden lumber to one side, even though they're trying to lay down fresh stonework or whatever, that there was a terrible, terrible fire.
Yeah, we both look at the goblin. Yeah, for sure. What? What have you been doing here?
Have you been up to trouble again?
Whoa. This one wasn't me. All right. Now, look. Clearly, this was a masterpiece. All right. Like, I mean, look at these scorch marks. Beautiful. But I wouldn't do this. Come on. The first person everyone's going to blame is a goblin. Every time. Come on.
Actually, can I have a knowledge occult roll?
Maybe.
From the Latias.
You sure can.
Oh,
24.
19 untrained.
Low brack already stated, and it's the truth. And Dieter, you can't disagree. Something supernaturally hot burned this place down. Like you said, the scorch marks, the tracing, and the ash isn't from like a natural fire. It spread from a natural fire, but there seemed to be an initial supernatural source, like an outsider, dragon breath, magic. Just has that.
Stone's been sheened by heat.
Yeah.
So rubbing his hand along the edge of the stonework. Would you see this here? This is not done by natural heat. No. When is the last time you saw a fire melt the rock? Something happened here. Perhaps we should inquire. I shall leave it to your judgment, fair lady. He bows toward Alethea.
well, we can inquire for sure. I still don't quite trust my old companion.
Okay. Perception, Ladia?
$14.
17.
24.
Okay. Dieter, not that all rat folk know each other, not that all elves know each other, not that all goblins know each other, and certainly not that all humans know each other, but you do spot a couple of elves and one goblin in the crowd, help part of the construction crew, though they don't necessarily look like laborers, but they do look like townsfolk that are like lending a hand, taking a part. You can tell laborers and people that have been like handed a leather apron. Here, you can help with this kind of, just from the way they're carrying themselves.
Oh yeah, so they got the checklists.
Yeah,
pointing at stuff.
or they're helping and not doing so well with a hammer or whatever. Or they're taking. You can see that there's humans and dwarven craftsmen and it's all the people pitching in. Anyway, you see what look like laborers mixed in with commoners, all trying to pitch in and get this project going.
It is so nice to see a community at one. If only this were more present in the world.
I mean, yeah, if you like people. Or, socializing.
This is precisely the reason I do not. Sprockets, stop fidgeting with your cloak.
So, Alethea, they've kind of made it obvious why you've been nominated to go speak with people, as they like to sit there and shuffle and, complain when they don't like people.
Well, I will go up to one of the elves that don't seem too busy and ask them what transpired here.
Okay. Older, taller, shoulder length, almost down, all halfway down his back, seeming to have a certain amount of authority, but, robes rolled up, leather apron, holding it all back. I wouldn't say his robes are too nice to be working in, because they are plain and nondescript. They're not like embroidered or anything, but again, not the type of clothes that a laborer would own and bring to a site. You know what I mean? Guy just put on his like Sunday robes or his Saturday afternoon cartoon robes as opposed to, right? Hello, my child. Welcome to Breach Hill. I'm afraid you've caught us at a sort of unfortunate time. Are you looking to speak with a council member, perhaps?
At the moment, I was just wondering what exactly happened here.
Sad to say, one of our own dirty, rotten scoundrels. He leans in and he switches to Elven and describes a non-Elven person.
Okay.
Not using any derogatory term. We switched to Elven and he's like, names the race, names the name. They've been jailed, arson, unleashed an actual creature during the town council call of heroes. A party of dwarves and friends rescued several people. Unfortunately, several people died. So I guess they're really not, heroes or superheroes, but they did what they could. And the council has moved on to, like another roof, a temporary. And the town has all come together to help rebuild, including himself.
Well, it's lovely to see everybody working together to rebuild.
I'm sorry, we have so many here together, and I've become quite accustomed to the history of this little town. Where are my manners? And he switches to a more formal Elvish and introduces himself formally as Kellen Corondil of Desna. And he bows. And as he bows, his little holy symbol pops out of his leather apron. You're
Seriously,
speaking
though.
to a priest. What?
Seriously though, why are there so many consonants in Elven names? Like
What?
no, it's like, why do they do that? So for Philelian, it's Philelio.
Probably because their base language just doesn't
The
have a
L
lot
is
of vowels.
silent. Which one? There's 9 of them.
I
Oh,
was
yes,
hung,
that's fair.
I was hung up on Kellyan Corondil. I'm like, am I naming that damn god of the human that I can Corel Calendula?
Killian, Kalelian.
Yeah. It's like they couldn't come up with a better name that
They
doesn't
hate
sound
all
like
the elves.
people mistake me for a human deity all the time. It's the elves. Oh god. Anyway, he introduces himself as a priest of Desna. And you are?
Alethea Evening Star.
And he doesn't ask where you hail from, because it's Elven custom that if you don't give that information, it means you are, abroad and seeking a new life. There is a theory that elves live their lifespans in shorter lifespans. They take 20 years, they settle down, they can have kids, a couple of human wives, blah, 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 or, get invested in archery or some craft or whatever and live out an entire lifetime, 20, 40, 60 years, and then pick up, move on, or completely shift trades, houses, start a new life.
Just keep moving from one life to another.
Yeah, but they're not necessarily move from one neighborhood or one town from another, but, you know, there are all those that travel abroad and want to expand, you know, that kind of thing.
So many years in one place, one life, gets a little boring.
Exactly. Do you have lore of Breach Hill? Do you guys have any common knowledge about this place? Besides the standard Call of Heroes that they, you know, put out and adventurers from around.
Why would Dieter ever waste his mind space for such trifle information?
I mean, I got a decent idea on what this place is about.
Okay.
24 lore Breach Hill.
Okay. So, even though you're not following the conversation in Elven, because I'm assuming that Dieter and Lobrecht don't speak Elvish.
Nope, not a lick.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. He's a pretty smart guy. Actually, he's not, but I'm going to say no.
Why would you concern yourself with all those silent L's?
Oh, wait. Bonus languages? What's this?
He would
Elvish
have...
is not on that list, so...
Okay. I was going to say, why would you concern yourself with all those silent L's, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too many L's. I prefer the letter...
And that's only the small. Imagine the capital, how it sounds.
Yeah. You know I'm giggling is because he's playing a short character, he's actually slouching his chair. He's like half on camera and half off of camera. He's like, he told me this earlier in a text. He's like, I'm totally playing this guy up. Did you like lower your chair just to...
No, I just duck into it, man.
Okay.
When I'm making with this voice, I just do this all the time.
You can barely see like the little mustache, the whiskers that substitute the mustache just peeking over. All right. Sorry. So getting back to 24 roll. Taking in the scene, you remember quite a bit about this town, an interesting history about how a couple generations ago, everyone literally woke up on this spot with amnesia and struggled to survive until the wizard Lamont came down out of the mountain, helped the people survive, build up a little village-esque of a town, which now stands as the mighty Breach Hill today, walls and all, and they erected a statue of Lamont in the center because he's considered the town founder. An elf or other people have come and settled, but of the original people, you know, generation some state or whatever, it's probably the most unusual thing about this settlement. Now they have a call to heroes, and because you guys are answering that call, they've been very trusting of outsiders and trade. You know, it's not like we made this place. They made it by trusting each other. They made it by trusting strangers. And so they're very welcoming about outside people, outside races. I mean, Roxy poked fun at the rat, but it, you know, they didn't like refuse service. She didn't like insult him directly. It was definitely a jab, but it was also, you know, break the ice kind of thing. One of the reasons why you've probably chosen, you know, the lore skill, Lobrak, and, you know, always come back to this place. Now I have to ask, are you related in any way to the Brumberbrasher clan? Or is that something we don't speak about?
That is something that I am not allowed to talk about.
All right. So I smell a cutscene and backstory coming on soon, but maybe not in this episode. So piling forward, you guys have learned that the council has not been disbanded, but has moved. And arson has toppled the current town hall, and whatever, you know, a day ago, 3 days ago, a week or so ago, you guys kind of miscalculated when the Call of Heroes was sort of done deal. You learn that you've missed it. And there's dwarves looking after, you know, whatever was, you know, being handled. Now, it's a perfectly good town for you guys to, like, settle in and kick your heels back. There's dangerous wilderness back out there. There is the matter of the eco-friendly wargs that are rotting in part of the forest. You might want to do something about that. You've only taken the years. Some fresh cash in your pocket and no Call of Heroes to, you know, do. What would you guys do? What would be the next move for this slapped together late upon late party?
I would suggest going to clean up the rogues, whatever. Go get rid of the bodies.
Oh, now who's playing the enunciation game? I see what you did there. Okay. Gentlemen, for lack of a better idea.
Works for
Und
me.
yes, it is what Dieter would suggest to do, yes.
Okay. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, we just got here. Perhaps a drink. No. Remember the fade out, the reunion? You know, there was drinking, there was hours turning, and there was, you know, the day turning into the night, turning into the day. So with a fresh morning, after your late arrival yesterday, a new day dawned. You guys came looking for work and found this mess. So, packing up supplies, turning your monkey around, and riding your wolf back out the way you came. Several hours. It is practically evening before you return to the outpost which you first came. Now, something very interesting about this outpost. And I'm going to zoom in here. Okay. So for our purposes, you guys head back. There is the platform, doubled. There is a squat little cottage that you guys really didn't check out. And there's several platforms in the back along a cliff face wall. Getting back here, taking your rest, and then the scene comes down upon you guys literally just finishing up digging holes, burning, disposing of the bodies, wiping brows, and a hard day's work done. Thank you, slave driving elf ranger that made us be equal friendly about this slaughter. What do you guys want to do now?
Dieter does not mind to perform rites on creatures that he has slain, even the twisted ones.
Who do you venerate as a druid?
Dieter venerates nature
Nature itself.
and answers the call to only that.
You answer the call to nature? Well, I hope so. You don't want to, like, you know, get backed up or anything.
Dieter is very regular.
I was going to say, because if this is going to learn into, like, I answer the call of nature and then this is how I pray, and he starts, you know, peeing on the bodies or something. It's like, that's,
Just little pellets every few steps.
oh, jeez. I blame myself for leaning into that. Yeah.
You open the door, I'm gonna walk through it, man.
All right. Fair enough. This has always been the way.
'Tis the way.
So, coming down to evening, there is a lovely building that you guys could shack up in.
Yes.
A shack that you could hold up
Dieter
in.
would survey his surroundings. Buildings are not really his style, so he would find camp on the cliff face somewhere.
Okay. Well, there are those giant platforms or open air and lovely trees and
No, but perhaps Sprockets would like that, but Dieter prefers his feet on the ground.
okay. So sort of a tunneling instinct. Fine rock, fine cliff face. Okay.
Yep. Burrow in, get comfy,
Sure. Sure.
curl up into the little ball.
Yeah, okay. How about our goblin?
I will find the place with the least amount of entrances and exits and set up traps before
Okay.
I go to bed.
Most fortifiable place would be the actual shack. One exit window at the back that's been smashed out, one entry window on the front, and a door on the front, but solid walls, so...
Yeah.
Because, like I said, all the platforms are open air, which means something could come at you from the sky, all angles, you know.
Yeah. No, so I'll set up 2 alarmed pairs.
'Kay.
One on either door.
All right. So let's talk about your trap making.
Yeah.
What are you playing?
I am playing a rogue who archetyped into snare crafter.
Oh, cool. And what particular traps are you setting up today? You said something about alarm traps?
Yes, 2 alarm traps and then also 1 spike trap.
Okay. Inside or outside?
Alarm traps outside, spike trap inside.
And you were talking like in around the door?
Yes.
Okay. And we're telling our companions of this, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he sets to work. Dieter's trying to find himself a new burrow. Yeah, the ape is funny enough, apes are mountainous creatures. So, Grape Ape here is probably climbing up the cliff face or, that kind of thing, not necessarily taking a perch in a tree. That leaves our Elven Ranger and our wolf. What are we doing? What's your idea of like camping for the night?
She'd probably put her back against the wall of the shack or building, whatever it is. Kind of still be in between both of her companions and keep her wolf beside her.
Okay. I'd have to say that behind the building with 15 feet to the cliff face, you have north exit, you have south exit, you can climb onto the roof because the platforms themselves really stand out. Anyone entering this clearing, their gaze is drawn to these platforms and would expect somebody up there.
Mm-hmm.
Or would try to seek that high ground, and none of you, even if they got to that high ground, unless you guys came out of your hiding or whatever, like, I'm not saying it's more defensible where you are, but it's certainly a lot less likely you'd be found. So kudos.
Sprockets is totally up there.
I thought you were on the cliff face.
No, Dieter is on the cliff face. Sprockets is up there.
Well, I thought apes were mountainous. He'd actually like enjoy the cliff face as opposed to like being up a tree.
No, King of the Hill, man. He's Donkey Kong on the topmost one.
Well, if you're going to order him, sure. Right. So he does the watch. Actually, yeah, a lone traveler comes and there's like, because he's got his armor and his cloak and he's the decoy carrying a lantern and he's doing the perimeter on the, look, there's only one guard. Says one half-orc bandit to another. Well, we said we were going to join up with these guys. Yeah, but look, I don't like it's too quiet. Kind of like they just leave. Okay. Can I have a search from everyone as you guys spread out and find your perfect little spot? Perception. You're all engaged in the search. I want the perfect bed. I want the perfect cliff face. I want the perfect whatever.
25.
17.
Okay.
22.
All right. 17, Dieter. You find a nice spot and there's bushes and stuff to shroud you and Cubby's not actual burrow, but you do find yourself a good spot. Lobrak. You notice that inside this has been recently habitat, like for a place that you'd heard these. I'm assuming you guys told him the story about coming here, fighting the wargs, running into some randos. They cleared out the bandits, right?
I'm sure it would have come up while we were burying the warg bodies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Some sparse furniture, table, 4 chairs, a half wall and a curtain dividing a small sleeping chamber with a cot. Someone has rigged up manticles to like the bedpost that's now been bolted to the floor, and they're like someone could be literally like ankle chained to this bed like a prisoner.
Well, seems like someone was having fun last time they were here.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, Althea, as you look for your spot and then find it against the back wall, Raina starts wandering, and it's she that draws your attention to a peculiar part of the cliff face. Now, this cliff face winds in and out. It literally undulates. It's not a flat wall. It's full of crevices and cracks. But you notice that the foliage covering one part of the face does not look natural. There's rocks, there's bushes, and then there's foliage that looks like it's been placed, not grown here. The leaves don't naturally turn out towards the light. It's acting like a husk of a tree that recently flourished, but I'm saying, like those subtle natural signs of plants growing, seeking light, receding, what I mean? This bush is not in natural living plant mode, which would make you think it's been hewn and somebody's like placed it.
I'll examine it a little closer.
Okay. Coming over to the rock wall, to your surprise, you find an actual 5-foot entrance that's been really well camouflaged. Like I said, if you hadn't literally been sitting there and just kind of all up in your mind, studying this cliff face going over the day in the back of your head, and then just something, stands out about this with your excellent 25 perception. This would not have been so easily spotted unless you were a lot closer. But there it is. A dark cave.
Well, I will call out to my companions if they can hear me, like if they're actually paying attention, and let them know what I found.
Okay.
And step inside.
All right. Your companion summons you. I hear snoring. It's nighttime. What'd you expect?
I'll take a look on my own.
roll up
Vale.
from under
Your
the bed.
whiskers are as wispy as the fellow. What is going on?
Maybe make it a little louder. I've been with these guys before. Get your asses
One
up
of
and come take a look.
one of them, either way, yeah. Lots of Elven cursing, she's getting upset. Let's not keep the ranger waiting, right?
Ow, I'm coming. You know how I sleep. As I'm rolling out from under the bed, sweeping up the caltrops in front of the door, and then
Okay.
moving out and slipping past the other trap so I can get outside.
Yeah, okay. Instantly responding to your summons and appearing in front of you in a mere 35 minutes. They are ready to go.
What do you expect? I need my beauty sleep.
In this
Easy sleep. Right.
In this time, Reyna seems very curious. She's sniffing the ground in this entrance all around and seems to have caught the scent of something.
I'll pay attention to what she's trying to check out and follow her.
It's a
Like if she moves
curiosity.
off?
It's not a warning. No, she just kind of she
No,
won't go
but-
very far,
I'm in tune with her, so whatever she's
Okay.
checking out, I'm going to check out.
Okay. There's tracks of all sorts in and out, but she's caught she's acting like she's caught a scent.
So I'll just ask her to be patient until our friends come.
Okay.
And once they're there, she can lead us wherever she wants to.
All right. The scene at this point actually fades back. Now, this part of the dungeon has been cleared. Almost. There are several occupants that still reside within. Both of them talk, if you remember.
That's true.
One had struck a deal with our necromancer, and you guys left it there. And another had struck a deal with you guys to try and return home through a portal, and you left her there. And a whole bunch of bodies. So just imagine what would happen when a rat folk druid, a man of the land, who keeps an ape for a companion, and a ranger run into a very unusual, creepy, six-legged talking creature that basically is willing to trade its life for something shiny and just wants to stay here. Would you attack it? Or would you let it be?
If a creature is not hostile to us, there's no reason for us to disturb it. Move along.
It would hide or it would present itself. So without taking the long way around of presenting that, that's my assumption being correct, you guys move on. You find bodies long dead, but exposed. As if pulled from the ground, fresh armor and supplies, been rifled through like a bit of a bandit camp. Okay, well, this was supposed to be a bandit camp. Maybe this was their secret stash. There are barrels and crates, and the signs of a recent battle taking place. Things are smashed. Things are burnt and shifted that shouldn't be, that sort of thing. And another tunnel going on. For miles of endless killed vermin until you guys literally find a slaughter of goblinoid creature, room after room of victory for someone, and very little done to clean up the mess besides perhaps move the body out of the main pathway, and we'll deal with it later. You find creatures that have been stripped of goods and shoved aside to keep the main pathway to get to the next chamber open. Nothing in the way of burial rites, not much in the way to deal with the stench. Until eventually, the scene comes down to Albric and Muros discussing in Dwarven, in an alley, where Theon has gone. The fact that he didn't take his prisoner, what you guys are going to do with her, or trust her. The fact that you haven't seen Dahlgren Trueseeker in quite some time. And the fact that a certain druid and a certain lady of the jungle are waiting for you guys at the portal ring. Albric has the key. Nothing left to do but head on out, I suppose. Oh, wait. Cleric asked for some time. Something personal has come up. Certain duties of his temple. They've let him romp with you guys quite a bit, but he does, as an official member of this temple/bar, has to work a weekend or whatever. Anyway, you guys were trying to figure out the portal itself and the key, get things working. So I'm assuming that is the agenda.
Yep.
As opposed
Now
to
that we have the key.
Yep.
Yeah.
So looking into that.
If it deals with doing the stone magic there, the anvil breakers come from a long line of golem crafters and stonesmiths.
Okay.
Hence being the name, anvil benders. We don't work with the metal, except for me pa. He's a weird one. I take the name from me ma's side there.
Aye. Right now, so we got the keystone.
Oi.
So I'm just going to teach you this wee bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Flourish for us as we're traipsing out of town. It goes like this. Jumps forward twice. I'm going to do a secret thing. Just like this. Just follow me like this at the town.
All right. I got the beat.
You remember the way up to that bandit camp, make our way down the portal.
We gotta do this the whole way.
Got the secret. And we traipse our way out of town.
I'm going to take a hero point off you. You're being a dick. Jasper just comes out of an alley and shakes his fist at you. I'll get you. That's not funny.
No, but in all seriousness, it's
if it's
tour out of town on the way stop at a supply place and pick up some gear. Rations.
It's canon. You pick up your stuff. You guys skip out you get to the gate and you just think of Jasper and you start doing the dance, right? And he pops up another pops out of an alley again, and he's like, that's just, you guys are so mean.
No. If this is truly the game representation, you see his health go tick 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 tick. That really hurt, guys.
Like literally. Okay. Drawing your attention to the map. Heading to the outpost and ignoring said outpost, and you guys head straight in.
Beeline.
Okay. Heading straight
We're
in.
nothing but efficient, us dwarves.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's left the door open. Well, Spider Lady and the Druid are in there. Perhaps Beryl forgot to bring cover the bushes up, because he's constantly, you've left him on site and he's constantly in and out, getting his mushrooms and his herbs or whatever. So maybe he's actually out there in the wilderness and not in here. But somebody has pushed, your camouflage aside just enough to get in, but didn't exactly do much to put it back.
Damn it, Pearl! Again. None of the boxes here this time.
A long, winding tunnel full of dead vermin, and you come upon the first cave entrance. And halfway across, Muros, your danger sense is tingling. You feel you're being watched.
My danger sense is tingling.
Just like Homer coming out of the hedge, you know, that meld backwards, okay? Slowly, a part of a stone wall pushes forward in a humanoid form. Short, burly, dwarven, stone dwarf pushes out of the wall and then slowly reveals actual skin and beard as Birol comes out and warns you that you're not alone. He tells of a party of mismatched humanoids that came traipsing through here, took him and Our Lady by surprise, and being outnumbered, they decided wiser to hide and observe. So he's made his way to the front and he's hiding here without necessarily like running off to abandon her. And because you guys said don't abandon, like, you know, don't abandon the spot, right? You guys always have a guard. So without leaving the place, he's come as close as he can to see if they leave or warn you guys coming in, which he's doing now. And he says Our Lady, Our Lady of the Webs is in there observing them. She's a bit stealthier.
All right. I appreciate the heads up. They're better.
Okay. He describes a elven woman, a wolf, and two hooded creatures covered in the most magnificent, awesome cosplay hide armor he's ever seen in his life. Hunters. You know those guys that have like the wolf cap because they killed the wolf, right? Beryl claims that, you know, there's two, like a short and a tall human or some other creature that are like wearing the skins of their fallen foes. One wears the skin of a mighty, you know, primate that he beat in battle, and one smaller guy, best he could do was kill some sort of rat creature, and they wear them, you know, like armor, and it's disgusting. Because you guys are wearing clothes and shit on top, right? So, you know, this is Beryl's take on it through the stone, right? And an elf woman and a wolf have come through here. Anyway, because she's an elf, he kind of got paranoid, like, oh, they've come back to the portal, or oh no, you know, elves would come here every couple hundred years, right? I don't know what to do. The elves might have come back every couple hundred years or something. I think they sent a scout or something. I kind of panicked, you know. I left her to watch, and I got on the chopper.
I took the National Geographic way, you know, to film and look, but don't interfere. You know, from afar, you can't touch them. You could see when my paw is cut. I need to get it help. And you're like, I want to help it, but I can't help it. Oh, the emotional feels.
Dude, that's a hero point right there. Your impression was so much better than mine. Yeah, that's exactly what he says. And Messsina, you get yourself a hero point. Hey man, I always interrupt and take the joke and run with the proverbial and you say or the guy says. So, you know, definitely for putting up with years of that, you just scored yourself a hero point, man.
Sorry,
that was really well done.
It was the Arnie. It welled up into his head. I had no control over that.
Oh yeah.
So Albrecht just kind of like puts his hand on his shoulder, hands him the big old sack of supplies. All right then, you keep a watch out here. Make sure no one else comes in behind us. We'll go see what's going on down the hole.
All right.
So he just goes into Albrecht stealth mode and just starts walking down the hall.
Oh, I've got a secret. Oh, I've got...
Somebody's trying to find out about their secret. So I'm going to go do what Albrecht does.
Yeah. And by this point, he's strapped 1 foot square sheets of metal to his feet.
He's tap dancing.
Okay. 1 second. So, remembering several episodes, I need some knowledge nature from those that have it of our new party. I need some occult from those that have it of our new party.
23 for knowledge nature.
The reason I'm asking...
22 for both nature and occult.
All right.
I got neither.
Actually, thievery from you, sir, will also work.
I got that. 20.
All right, guys. 17, 23, 22, 22, 20. The hazards that are natural, left in place, like the mushroom field in one of the last chambers, any traps that were left, okay, are found and bypassed by you guys. A druid, a ranger, and a rogue walking into a 95% cleared dungeon. It's not much of a threat. Like I said, not much need to like replay this in each room, because people are like, oh, what about the mushroom room? They run into it. It's like, with these skills, you guys do find natural hazards that have been left in place, but not really a lot of man-made stuff. Things that have been either, tripped or dismantled, or it's just a natural trap that someone's added the proverbial spear thing to, or, that kind of thing, whatever. And you guys find them and bypass them. I can't say this place is heavily armed or heavily trapped. There are some really nice natural hazards, but then coming upon an area that might have once been a small complex of rooms. Their original use is anyone's guess today, but some ancient catastrophe seems to have melted the walls in places, leaving behind half-demolished complex patterns in the tile. In the few places where the walls are still seeming intact, however, delicate carvings indicate that whoever once built these rooms were skilled artisans. Far to the southwest, a partially melted stone archway opens into an even larger room. Alethea, you recognize ancient artisan Elven architecture, even destroyed easily.
This is definitely Elven made.
Bodies of furry humanoids, baboon-like men that wear traps of clothing but not armor, boggards, goblins, whatever lived here that constantly has been slain and swept aside, go from what you would find in the area now to what is not native to the region. Baboon people and boggards are swamp creatures, jungle creatures. It's just not making sense all of a sudden. And what are ancient elven architecture doing in a destroyed cave? And then you come upon it. The Estella's ring of portals. And the scene pulls out and lets the imagination of our audience realize that second party, but the first time in awe, what they would do wandering about this massive chamber with several elven portals. What our ranger would say, what Dieter would dismiss, and what excitement the goblin would enjoy mucking about with quasi-functioning portals and a slain construct made of wood and tempered metal and steel laying with a tower shield the size of a door in a room that actually has furniture in it. Exploring and trying to make sense of this place, probably for hours, and definitely the easiest place to camp. And now our dwarves come upon the scene. Perception from the second party, and stealth from the first, if you please.
$21 on stealth.
You 14 perception from Albert.
26.
Albert, I want stealth, not perception. You're the sneaky guy.
Oh, when it flipped.
From the second party, that would be the new party.
Sorry.
Well, the second party to enter is
13
party.
stealth.
So
Arguably.
Oh, I see what you're saying. From the
dwarves, got it.
I
A
gotcha.
25 for perception for Alethea.
18 from Lobrak.
19 perception from Muros.
Okay. Before we get to the cataclysmic handshaking and battle that will only leave one party, Renali emerges several chambers away, recognizing her dwarven allies, and reports to you about a about a party of mismatched humanoids. She backs Beryl's story. She's been watching them. All they've been doing is exploring. There's nothing here for them to fight. And speaking mostly in common, because of the racial differences, she's been able to listen in, but she's kept her distance more of like a room or so away, so there's very little chance of her being spotted. So she hasn't been watching them. She's been like, okay, they're in this room, I'll circle around. What did they do to change anything in this room that I'm familiar with? Nothing. So all they've probably done is walked around and looked, turned bodies over, right? She'll inspect the rooms, she claims, after they've left them for fear of being spotted or cornered. They are now trapped in the portal room and stand between me and my home. I'm so glad you're here. Kill them with fire. I mean, what should we do?
Okay. I didn't.
So just out of curiosity, Muros,
Yes.
after this party has been described to you multiple times, do you recognize anything in the description?
Can I have an intelligence check? I've been waiting for Ryan to go, do these guys sound familiar? But he's too professional a meta. Thanks for that, Matt, though. It's not a bad boost.
That's a solid roll of a 4.
Obviously, invaders from Mars. You must proceed with caution.
No.
Not Mars, sorry. Damn it. Ultric? What's that name of that planet that I made a big deal. They had this planet they did Entomb with the Pharaohs in 3.5 for Pathfinder, and then they made more deal about it with all the time clocks counting down in Stone Top Pyramid, and then years later, they connect it to the beta test. All the mini adventures for the beta test for Pathfinder 2nd edition, and it dealt with the Hollow, and it dealt with the expanded story of that, and you get Cthulhu coming out of the planet, and it was the planet Etrim, or so obviously, since that happened recently, more invaders from land of Cthulhu. There's an inside joke here because Ryan loves Cthulhu. He would get us to play that in a heartbeat, and I just won't have anything to do with Cthulhu.
Just
I'd
Lovecraft.
second that as well.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's the Lovecraftian nature of it.
No, sorry.
So
Tentacles are all bad.
Undescribable colors.
There's tentacles you're afraid. There's tentacles you're afraid. I'm sorry. I just see a vicious circle in that kind of game.
It's just chaos. It's just chaos.
So anyway,
I mean, yeah.
critically failing your intelligence check. It's like, no, you're just not putting it together. I tried to help with that with Burroughs, like, people wearing the hides of their fallen, it's kind of like, it's almost like I expected the 4 to happen. So anyway, with enough stealth.
Albert's just going to turn to Muros and look at him.
Pattern A or pattern B? Do I use my fist or my feet first?
I
like C because it uses both from time to time. It's really good. It stretches out my back.
So, how many rooms away are we right now?
Yeah, where
are you guys?
Yeah.
You guys are the steps that come down to the mushroom room, so technically 2 rooms away. And with your nattering, okay, now with your decent but not great stealth and with their awesome perception, okay, you guys hear a little bit of echoing, the odd clink of stone, distant, murmuring voices.
Wait,
which they don't
doing
realize.
A stealth check?
Yeah,
I thought we were making a noise check.
that's okay. Albert's blown it enough for 2 of you. Anyway, you see how it funnels down and you guys drop from the ceiling? Natural amphitheater. So you guys 2 rooms away can hear like distant voices. Can't tell what they're saying or who they are, but you definitely hear humanoid voices coming from, and you guys are penned in. So with Party B and Monkey Me being warned of the approach of something or someone, what do you guys do?
I set up traps.
Pull my bow.
Okay. Get a whole bunch of ready. All right. Miros and Elbrick down and stealthily approaching.
Well, if
Dwarven stealthily approaching.
Yeah.
No, you never rolled stealth, did you?
no, we didn't.
Go ahead.
I did. You didn't.
No, I didn't catch that.
Well,
right,
his
well-
13 is trumped by several 20s, so even they might think it's a lone dude talking to himself and answering to himself.
Right.
Still 24. Multiple conversations, but they send one lone scout. The rest of the party must have obviously stayed behind because you can only sense or see one man. Ryan is a ghost. 24. I feel got you with a 25, 26. There's, it's good, guys, but not good enough. So, coming upon the portal room. Now, you guys have been told there's something down here. So you guys are entering each room expecting to find them in any given room.
Yeah, so before we even moved in, I'm
Yeah.
casting spider climb
I'm
on
probably on the roof.
Yeah.
I'm not on the ground.
Okay.
Miros has spider climb. As soon as that goes off, he rolls in, and I just roll
Back
in
him up.
Albrecht style.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a secret
Moros runs in-
thing.
Yeah, and he's doing that. Moros is doing with that stealth roll. Just going
Okay. Yeah.
across the ceiling.
Okay. So here's the thing. Same problem as last time, Stealth Boy. The entrance, the top of the door is low enough to the ground that you can be seen coming down and hitting that lip before you get to the big, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Sure.
I do it.
So that means that by the time we get there, I'm going first.
Probably, if you want. Do you want to wait till he enters?
Me? No.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll take the lead.
All right.
Captain Flashy Distraction here.
All right.
Dwarven stealth style.
Sure.
And I'm not going to go in all hostile. I'm just going to go in like I own the place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Striding in through the doorway and probably right into the middle of the first two squares, which are covered in what?
Covered in wires and brambles.
Okay.
All right.
Snaring him.
Do I get a save?
So you need to make a perception check versus my craft trap or a craft snare check to see if you
Alright.
cover it. So
Ooh,
roll off
dangerous.
that.
PvP.
17. Oh, you beat me with your
30.
natural roll. All
right. Al, what do they see? A dwarf with a floppy hat and robes like he owns the place?
Dwarf in like royal purple robes, not in like immaculate noble quality, but they're
Right.
kept in good repair, but they're
Yeah.
a bit rough.
Got the utility belts, couple of webbing, and you get the gear.
Yeah.
Right?
Pouches, couple
Yeah.
books
Okay. Humming to himself.
at his waist.
D. Why would he just stride so loudly? Maybe he has no idea that we're here. He's returning to the, look, it's a wizard looking guy or caster to a portal ring. This makes all kinds of sense. And then does he see them? Crafting 30, perception 17. Nope. Walks right into a whole bunch of cursing and swearing and stepping on sharp, pointy things, Mr. Albrecht.
Yeah, what does it do to me, Aiden?
So it treats the 10 by 10 square at the entrance as difficult terrain for 2 rounds.
Oh, okay.
So no damage, but sets the ranger up to just.
Yeah, I thought I told Moros to move these damn rocks.
So
No, it's more like
only Alethea spots
oh.
the dwarven spider that climbs in, because you only beat him by 1, and stealth of 24 beats pretty much everybody else. Only Alethea spots the Spider-Man slipping in onto the roof.
Take it I don't recognize him being up on the roof?
Yeah, wait, does the ranger recognize Moros?
Can I have intelligence? You guys are poised and pounced.
No, I don't recognize him.
5. Well, at least no
Wait,
one
maybe Dieter does. Maybe Dieter does.
I'm glad no one's like, you didn't see him, Dieter.
Yeah.
12. Oh, you're right. I didn't.
You didn't see him, right? You got a 24, and only the 25 ranger.
I don't recognize him. I'm going to aim at him.
And
Okay.
shaken.
All right. So, even though I have the battle board and battle music going, I'm hesitant for PvP. So I'm not bringing up an action. Like, I'm trying to keep this loose. Okay.
It's
Taking aim, right? Anyway, Our floppy dwarf that we don't recognize, walks right into the goblin's trap. And this sets off what? What was your purpose with this Bolem? Just to slow him down so that you can ambush, or just hold, so he stops up short? Because now you've announced your presence. Somebody has left shit in my hallway. You know, you guys assume he knows this place. He's going to start looking around for like, what the hell, right?
Yeah, so I put down the trap so that the ranger and the other, everyone else can swarm him if they want to. And I'm actually camped out in the furniture room, hiding, waiting
Collect the loot.
for their backs to be turned so I can poke them in the back.
All right,
I'm a goblin.
Now,
a goblin.
there's no light in here. So who's working off of dark vision and who's working off of low light?
I'm working off dark vision.
Because if our elf has low light, there has to be a planted light source.
I have low light.
Yeah. So, Elbrick, you were told there were people here. So the fact that even if I backtrack and said, oh, there's an ambient light source, right? Like a proverbial
it doesn't
torch.
make a difference.
Not
No,
to
I
your
was still
actions.
going to
no,
roll it.
right?
I wasn't going in hostile at all. I was just going to be like, and what do you think you're doing
Yeah.
in Citadel All-Terrain?
Okay. Dieter. We're all lying in wait. What was the plan with you and Sprockets? Were we laying for an ambush? Were we looking just like bypass and escape? The goblin laid traps to slow them down, and he disappeared into the room.
Dieter cares not for what the goblin does. The goblin is a fool. However, Dieter would have Sprockets go on alert. And if anything came through that was not looking natural or hostile,
Okay.
then maybe he would do his monkey bang bang,
Yeah, okay. Elbrick, can I have another intelligence check? So, as you're recoiling from sharp owies, Elbrick, on your feet, an ape comes charging, you know how they do that intimidation charge? Crosses a lot of ground from the back, steps into the light, gets in your face at about 10-15 feet. But even though he's that far away, it seems in your face, stands to its full height, and intimidatingly pounds his chest and screams at you. And then you hear a little tiny voice from the back of the room.
So literally, this is exactly what he does. He has a support benefit called Menacing Growl.
Yep.
Your ape threatens your throws with menacing growls until the start of your next turn. If you hit and deal damage to a creature within your ape's reach, that creature becomes frightened 1. So that's literally what Sprockets does. He runs up and
Yeah. Ape feels threatened. He challenges him. So you had to save there, Al?
There is no save. It's if
Okay.
Dieter hits him,
Okay.
then Albert becomes frightened.
Okay. So look, Dieter, the dwarf's leaving a couple of pellets. Moving on. It's only frightened 1,
Yeah.
However, Muros, another intelligence check.
Yeah.
You're moving into position.
Oh,
Climb on the ceiling.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the plan? Oh,
6.
yeah.
No, you don't know this ape. You recently met an ape in battle, and this thing comes up like, no,
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, seriously, he's wearing barding. He looks like Hulk from that Planet Hulk movie. If you ever saw it.
Okay, no. Okay, and to be honest, hear me out. You guys know Muros pretty well as I do. If you saw Albert being under attack, he would leap from his position to intersect between him and the threat.
And do the same. Oh yeah,
He would intimidate back.
That was the next thing I was going to say. What do you do? Like, yeah, so.
Muros jumps on the ground.
Yeah. Muros, acrobatics, buddy.
All right.
Stick the landing.
Yeah. Oh. 24 acrobatics.
Okay. Now, with technically party A having the drop, okay, Alethea, dwarf comes in, moves on ceiling, and as soon as the monkey runs up and sets the charge, right, the dwarf turns himself around, arms stretched, and looks like he's going to jump down in front. So if you want a shot, you'd have to take it now. Unless you want to wait to see if he actually... Well, I'm just saying, like, he's not attacking.
Well,
he's jumping.
watch and see what he does.
All right. So how about this? The ape is blocking your shot if he hits the ground. Would you move to get a clear shot?
Yeah, I'd probably move off to the side so I can shoot him if he tries to attack.
Yeah, the feather of the arrow is touching your cheek.
No, that's fine. So as you hit the ground, Miros, Elbrick, Miros, okay, to get the shot, she moves into view of your dark vision from hiding behind the statues and having light planted on the door, right? To get around the ape, she strafes, let's say, away from the goblin to the south, comes out with bow, and even though she thinks she's in the shadows, you guys see elf from your dark vision. So, Miros, acrobatics, plant that landing.
24.
He literally lands his toes touching the monkey. Do you have any
nature check? Yeah.
Any ability?
You probably have intimidation.
Yeah.
We'll handle animal.
Oh, beautiful.
Are you allowed to do that with a companion that's been brainwashed? I mean, a companion that's not a natural animal.
We're gonna have a nature out here in a hot minute, maybe, if that's what it's come down to.
If you looked for a trained animal, they would at least get bonuses. It'd be more difficult DC. How about a straight up intimidate? Because he's actually closer to being like a character than, you know what I mean?
It's Miros' nature. He doesn't know that this is an actual animal companion. He sees an animal.
Yeah, that's true. We've been fighting monkey stuff quite a bit.
What is your intent? What is your intent? What do you want to do? Get to back off?
No, because my intent is to de-escalate the scenario.
Okay. Through.
Well, he's thrown a threat, knowing how monkey language is.
Yeah, you would bow your head and act passive.
No,
so going, you're the man.
No,
or
he
you're
needs to
standing?
show that the threat. No, because that's not how monkeys work. That's not how apes work.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not how apes work at all.
No,
he's got to be like, yo,
we're on the same platform.
Yeah, the players know this, but what does the character know? Hence the knowledge. So
that's what he's saying. Knowledge, nature. Yeah.
All right. So give me a knowledge nature. See if you can figure out how to play the scenario out.
26.
All right. Tell you what. So what is your play? Intimidate back? Be the alpha?
My play is to come at that. You're in my territory. You're trespassing.
All right.
This is not your grove. Your nest is not here. My nest is here.
So give me intimidate. And I will give you a big bonus because of your knowledge nature. Right?
All right. No. I get, it's my prerogative as a PC to bitch.
No, I get it. No, I see where you're going with it because it's like, could it fall in nature and get because they substitute skills all the time.
Yeah.
They allow you to
it's cool, man. Like I said, you play the game. You try to push my angle, but you adjudicate how you do.
No, I see where you're going with it, and like a lot of times they do, but you're coming down to a raw act. But your knowledge nature, I will give you a large bonus because you played it well. With your 19 goes well over 20. Which, if you look at Sprocket's personal DC, because when you intimidate, you go off the character's DC, you know?
Yeah. So again, it's not to push down on him. It's like you're the one trespassing. It's like, whoa.
Doesn't back down, but he does stop threatening you. Yeah, so he doesn't move. He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't move away, but he stops pounding his chest. He stops flaring up. He actually takes a defensive stance by planting his knuckles in the ground, like he's getting ready to move or charge, or like fight or flight.
Yeah. And Miros will kind of mimic his kind of actions.
Okay.
Just to be like we're on a one-on-one.
Okay.
I get you. I'll speak your language.
Okay. Time slows down as everyone starts watching the mirror game.
Yeah.
Miro's plans is that because you went from being I was the aggressor, I'm the aggressor. Okay. Not sure what to do. Yeah, not sure what to do. Wait a minute. And he literally the mirror game starts between primates, and it just I don't say it totally diffuses the situation, but this initial confrontation,
it's taking the spotlight of the
turns into.
Out there. Come on, I'm getting bored. You have all your strings attached, like all your other traps that you haven't blown up. You're like, oh come on, on.
Yeah.
I gotta.
So, there's a big moment of hesitation, and then
oh, sprockets, easy, sprockets. Hello, Sir Muros. It is a pleasure to be making your acquaintance again.
Dieter? What are you doing down here?
Und we came back to dispose of the bodies of the Vox. And,
Aye.
Found this tunnel and just, did what adventurers do.
That is highly unfortunate there, friend. Highly unfortunate there. It's a short sight to me and my cousin at the time. By cousin, I mean the human one. The tall dwarf. That.
So are we not killing them?
the statues are
Who?
talking to Muros. An ominous but tinny voice echoes around the chamber, as almost as if the statues are going to pass judgment, or at least they want to cast a vote.
Is that one of yours? Dieter?
Und yes. Calm down, everybody. This is not a battle. This is our friends.
I was here now. Now, Muros is trying to make sure that he's not coming up to affronting. He knows that Dwarven involves what other language calls cuss words. So we have to bring it up to be a little more hiney there, so we don't seem like we're so, pretentious.
So dropping the Scottish, which we have canon as Dwarven, and going to that quasi-British is your way of switching to common. That's brilliant. That's two hero points for Ryan tonight. He's on a roll.
I'm going to do some mega backflips before we end the session.
So the scene pulls out, flips to commercial, and comes back in. And a gratis period of everyone explaining who they are and why they're here at this still tentative and temporary truce. The goblin and Elbrick are still somewhat guarded, hanging in the back, ready to, in case, shit goes up. Muros leading, the diplomacy with this little rat person.
For once, let this be marked that Muros led the diplomacy.
Fast forward to a couple of things you may want to address, that we now have an elf present here in these ancient elven ruins. And what kind of wonderful lie or truth have you guys decided to tell the newcomers about this place now that it's been found out? And we'll see you next time.
With the reveal. Can Prendos Muros's hero points carry over to the next round, so he can use them to apply to his stone masoning to fix the portal?
Oh yeah, no, this totally counts as one session.
Sweet. Groovy.
No.